Man, oh man. What a week it was this week.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. How is everyone doing? We are back at it. A little
Reagan is
bit.
crying. Reagan is crying because she wants to say hi to you.
Oh,
Reagan,
but she can come say hi.
Reagan, come say hi to Ben real quick, okay? Yeah, well, I know, but she doesn't. Just come say hi to Ben real quick, and then you can go downstairs. Come on, hurry up. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got
What's
a
up,
busy
Combo?
podcast. Come on, hurry up.
Come on.
Tears. Wipe your tears. Come say hi to Ben.
We got no time for alligator tears.
I know. Ben wants to say hi to you. It's a perfect way to start our podcast. For you to come say hi to Ben. Come here. Come here. Put the towel down. Come on.
You're okay. You're fine. Your eyes are
Say
fine.
hi. She loves her Ben.
I know
she
she
always
does.
wants to say hi to Ben.
Hi, Reagan.
Say hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Did you have fun this weekend? Yeah? Good. I'm
Tell
glad.
Ben how your dance team did this weekend.
How'd you guys do?
Good.
Good. What'd you finish?
Judge's choice.
Judge's choice.
Judge's
Both
choice.
dances.
In
Oh,
both
yeah.
dances. Oh my
They did
goodness.
pretty good.
Look at you guys go.
You the star of the
Congratulations.
show.
Yeah, I bet you were.
We were the first dancer.
You were the first dancers? Oh, so you set the bar for everybody else and they just didn't compare, huh? Exactly.
Okay. Can we do the podcast now?
No.
Bye to Ben.
Here, I'll talk to you at the end. I'll talk to you when it's over, okay?
Yeah. When we get done with the podcast, you can come back up and say, see you later, and we can talk more with Ben, okay?
Okay. I'll see you in a little while, Regan, okay?
Come on.
At you.
I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Adorable.
That's our segment with Reagan.
It's our Reagan segment for the week. People
Bye.
want to say
Love
hi
you.
to
See you
Ben.
later.
Reagan wants to say hi to me. She loves me.
Yeah. Reagan loves her Ben. She always wants to say hi to Ben.
She'll be even more excited when I tell her that I'm trying to get to Omaha within the next couple of years.
Oh boy, that'll be a good ass time, my friend. That'll be. Then that title that's had on your head, you're gonna be.
I'll have to
involved
actually
for
like
real.
put it to use.
Yeah, you move up here with me and Hugo, and we're going.
I'm gonna be like, but fuck streaming. I'm gonna just be golfing every weekend. I'm kidding.
Fun.
I'm kidding. For
Honestly.
those of you that are here from my other stream, I'm kidding. I will still stream.
You can golf and stream. You can
Exactly.
do both of them.
Both of those things. Okay. Anyway, back on track.
I gotta get locked in. 'cause
Back on track.
I've had a lot of shit on my chest all week, and I've just been dying to get it. out.
Yeah, we might mention that towards the end, combo. I'll do my best to try and mention it. If not, this week we'll definitely talk about
What's
it.
Ontario?
Ontario and Canada. Oh, bro, shit is fucking whack. Shit
Maybe
is
I'm just
shit
too
is
focused
shit is
on all
whack
the
out there.
shitty
So
things going on in America, and
yeah, all right, well, fuck it. We'll open it. We'll open with Ontario. So
yeah,
freaking
I'd honestly rather do that because
You
I
should.
have so much preloaded
yeah.
info in my head that I'm just ready to shotgun blast
So
out
basically, nope, not that one. Not that one
there.
either.
Oh, martial law going on in Ontario?
Yeah,
Under
basically.
old
So what's
Trudeau?
happening? Like Canada is still struggling to get vaccines, and they're basically like going into lockdown again. And so combo,
Hey,
you'll have to
2 weeks to slow the spread, bro.
Right.
2 weeks to slow the spread.
right. So combo, you have to correct me if I'm wrong in some of this because it has been a couple days since we talked about it. But so basically, I don't know if it's all of Canada or if it's just now we in this shit for 6 weeks now. Oof. So I don't know if it's all of Ontario or if it's Ontario by itself or just all of Canada, but I think it was just all of Ontario. The premier, which is the same thing as the governor, for that province, said that the police can now stop people that are out walking about and ask them who they are, where they live, what they're doing outside of their house, and all this other shit. Um, and then they also have the ability to find them and arrest them for breaking quarantine, basically, for breaking lockdown. Now, the Toronto police have said that they are not going to do that, and plenty of other police departments, at least the one where Combo lives in his town, have said that they're not going to do that either.
Well,
Um,
the first thing that comes to mind in my mind is when New York was doing those
stop and frisks.
yeah, stop and frisk or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Hey, you can't just stop a random person on the side of the road and say, "Hey, I need your ID."
Yeah.
Like, I'm just walking, bro. Like,
Yeah, almost every major police force in the province has said no. So there you have it.
well,
So
that's good at least.
the premier was like, "We're doing this," and the cops were like, "No, we're not."
That's your good old Justin Trudeau.
And that wasn't even Justin Trudeau. It was just the governor of Ontario that decided to put that out.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all.
So yeah, so that's what's happening. And then they're obviously still struggling to get vaccines up in the Great White North. So yeah, and then
As long as
Is
it's
it-
not
is
the
it-
Johnson and Johnson,
right, because that's causing people to get blood clots.
that'll you have a 0.003 chance of getting a blood clot. I think that's the number. Birth control is much higher, by the way. But
We won't talk about that.
yeah, who cares? I mean, I do care. Don't let that come off like I don't care if you get a blood
I
clot.
don't give a fuck if you get a blood clot. Take the vaccine. That's not what we're saying.
And I'm not getting the vaccine, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Same.
Let's come full circle with that.
So yeah, but yeah, so that's what's happening at least in Ontario and Canada this past week. Shit's getting fucking whack up there. People are losing their minds because they can't get a vaccine.
People who say they want to move to Canada because America is a fucking shit show or a failed union or whatever they want to say, no one is stopping you. Literally,
Canada's stopping you.
If you, yeah, well, Canada probably won't have you, but if you really want to, do it. Like, I think America is one of the greatest nations to live in as a whole.
4,500 cases per day in Ontario right now, Combo? Jesus Christ.
That's a lot of fucking people.
That's a lot of people getting COVID every day.
They getting that Brazil strain or
Yeah,
whatever
the
it
Brazilian
was?
strain airdrop itself.
Yeah,
Over there,
that
Jesus
Brazilian
Christ.
strain is just making its way like
Population is like
savages.
14 million.
Yeah. Well, best of luck, Canada. Wish you nothing but the best.
They would have more luck if we'd send them vaccines, which is what Combo keeps saying. But we don't have any extra vaccines to send. Actually, that's not even true. They have like the AstraZeneca's vaccine just chilling up there, and they're not distributing it, according to Combo. That's what I've heard. I'll have to do some more research into that, but apparently the man's, what is it? Who is it? Ford, your premier up there, your governor is just like sitting on a fuck ton of vaccines, and it was just like, nah, I don't know about this. Also-
Let's send them all of our Johnson and Johnson vaccines, because let's be real, it's not gonna give a lot of people blood clots.
No.
But it give a couple people blood clots, so we have the access now to be like, yo, Pfizer,
Doug Ford.
Moderna.
Combo said, "We'll take it. I'll take your entire stock." And then what else? There was something. Oh yeah, Doug Ford, the premier, also refused Canadian Red Cross aid. Like Justin Trudeau was like, "Hey, we'll send you some Red Cross aid," and he was like, "We're good, thanks. We don't need it." And everybody else in the province is like, "What the fuck, man?
Are you sure?
Yeah, you sure about that, dude? Like, could use the help." And he's like, "Nah."
I have to self-proclaim before I get on anything this week about everything that I'm going to talk about. The last couple days, I listened to the Rogan and the Colleen Noir podcast, who he's a big Second Amendment's proponent. He's a black guy. He's a lawyer. He's also a big Second Amendment advocator. He was talking about homeless populations and the amount of money that's dumped into homeless populations in, say, LA and New York, and how money keeps increasing. You're talking about in the $300 to $400 million range, and the homeless population, shocker, doesn't go down.
Huh.
It continues to grow, And it's like you take 1% of that and this isn't the exact math. I'm just recalling whatever I can from their conversation. Like 1% of that is like $8 million that, maybe doesn't get accounted for.
Mm.
And you can't tell me that homeless people aren't making rich people rich, because who's going to oppose homeless people?
That's
I
true.
am at an extreme high of distrust for some of these large area government populations. Um, it it gets to a point where you're a common sense person and you're like, I just don't see how we're pouring more millions of dollars into these situations and our homeless population is going up. It's almost like there's an incentive for you to make more money if the homeless population goes up.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it because they're just gonna keep feeding homeless people into the streets, so they could just keep pulling in more money and then not giving it towards the homeless.
Like I said, I got a lot of shit to get off my chest tonight. I can't wait because anyway,
Pain and suffering.
Combo, we're glad you're here along for the ride.
Indeed. Where do you want to start?
I would like to start with all of the screenshots that I sent you.
Okay.
Honestly, do you have those at Access?
On my phone, not
So,
where I can put them on the stream.
While Ben is working on putting them on the stream, I have, or we can just read them. I don't care how you want to do it. I've spent a lot of time this week.
Yeah, I'll just read them.
Scrolling through. I feel like it'd be more powerful if they were on. I can email them to you real quick.
Yeah, do that.
If that'll make it easier. I've spent a lot of time this week scrolling through a lot.
Where's Discount Jamie when I need him?
Yeah, I know. Where's Squash at?
He's busy. He's got a lot on his plate.
Thanks a lot. You're fired. Even though we don't pay you anything.
True.
Let me find all of them again. Spent a lot of time this week looking at posts of people that want to be
SJWs?
I hate to use the term woke because I use it all the time, but it's a very woke type ideology. And I would also like to preface everything that I'm about to say with the idea that I think a lot of hearts are in the right place. Like, I don't want people to get shot. I don't want people to be labeled as a certain type of person because of the color of their skin or the way they look or the color of their hair, whatever. I don't want that. I understand everyone's desire to have an equality across the board for all peoples, race, gender, what have you. But when you buy into a certain ideology or you take on a certain understanding based on what you've just read or perceived online or a meme that maybe you saw, and now that is your understanding and that's your perspective, you are doing such a disservice to the cause that you're seeking to fight for that turns people off to the movement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not saying me, because it doesn't turn me off to the movement just because I see one person make a very stupid or ignorant comment towards that movement. But if I was a Trump supporter, speaking on like left versus right, right versus left, if I was a Trump supporter and I saw that ignorant comment that went against what I'm fighting for, right away that's going to fuel my fire to be even more right-wing.
Mm-hmm.
Vice versa. You're someone on the left who makes the same comment, or someone on the right, excuse me, who makes the same comment just about gun control or gun rights or come and take it or whatever, what have you. And I post that ignorant comment online. Now I'm a left-wing supporter, and my fuel has been stoked even further, so that now my fire is burning out of control.
Right.
You're doing such a disservice to your cause. You're not changing anyone's mind. If anything, you're fueling that other person's fire to be even more ignorant. So we have ignorance fueling ignorance, and it drives me fucking crazy. It makes me insane. It doesn't make me insane. I'm not
Actually crazy.
insane, but it drives me fucking wild, dude. I just don't understand where people think they're making a real change, or they're doing good for the common person by saying or posting these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just sent all of the ones that drove me the most crazy to you, so
Yeah, it's all good. All right, so let's start with them. This is the first one. Hiya, Abby. All right, so the first one, I'll just blow it up all the way. So here you go. It says, it's safer to be a white man who just killed multiple people than it is to be a black person in a traffic stop. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about how abundant, unflinching, and grounded racism is in this awful country, I don't know what to tell you. So that's the first one.
do you want to start on this? Because
I can.
I don't want to just keep rambling.
No, that's fine.
Start.
So on that one, there...
Is America an awful country, Ben?
No, I don't think America's an awful country. I think that there are problems in this country.
Make the case to me that America's an awful country.
Make the case?
Yeah, make the case to me.
I can't make a case and say that this place is awful because look,
it's not.
Well, yeah, because it's not. But this is also coming from like, fuck. Take this for what you will, but this is coming from two white dudes, I guess. Who
Abby said, can you read it again?
Yeah, I'll pull it up again. Which one was it? Was it this one? Yeah, there you go. It is safer to be a white man who just killed multiple people than it is to be a black person in a traffic stop. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about how abundant, unflinching, and grounded racism is in this awful country, I don't know what to tell you. That was somebody's tweet. Look, I've seen plenty of white guys that have gone on mass killings and they got apprehended, and I can see where they're coming from in that regard.
That's not what that is talking about. That is saying that it's safer to be a white person who decides to go on a killing rampage, which unfortunately there is.
Yeah, because what they're getting at is those pictures of those dudes, like the white guys that do that, and they get walked out of the building or wherever they were in a bulletproof vest and then put in the cop car or whatever. That's what they're equating. That's what they're saying in that tweet.
So,
and then they're saying, on the other hand, it's by being a black person or a black male by nature automatically means that the traffic stop is just going to go south no matter what. And it's not true. And I'll tell you why this isn't true. Because just recently I saw a TikTok. Yeah. I saw a TikTok of this. It was a black dude it was in a traffic stop with like a county sheriff. And the county sheriff was just like, "All right, mate, hey, look, no big deal. Like, here's a warning. I just need you to sign the bottom of this warning. He's like, there's no fines, nothing else involved in this or whatever. And then was like, hey, if you just go up a mile up the road or whatever, up the highway, take the exit ramp, take a right and go like maybe a quarter mile or so down the road. That way there's like a gas station. So from what I could see, like TikToks are short. It was like 60 seconds. But from what I can gather from that is that my man's was speeding, probably because he had to like take a shit or something. And the cop was like, or they were running out of gas or something. There was there was a reason that the dude was like violating traffic laws and speeding. But but it was an easy traffic stop. It was nice. Like the cop wasn't all on edge or whatever because it was a black dude. And then at the end of the TikTok, the black dude was like, "See y'all, not all cops are bad. Quit it with the bullshit." Pretty much. So
And
we've seen both sides. Like,
well, and then you have the army lieutenant who got pulled over for
I
his
saw
tent
that.
being too dark, and then some asshole cop.
Just blasted him in the
Pepper
face with
spraying.
pepper spray.
Yeah, there is certainly room to say that there are some very poor cops in our police society who do not deserve to wear a badge.
Yeah.
That is 1,000% accurate. No one's arguing against that. How many traffic stops with a person of color happens every day where
Nothing happens from
no
it.
one gets killed, no one is hurt, no one is harmed, no one is damaged mentally or physically, that no one ever hears about whatsoever, because that's how it's supposed to happen. You just saw that CNN CEO, or not a CEO, I forget what his exact title was. He thought he was on a Tinder date with a girl, and they went on a few dates. And you specifically have that guy saying that CNN builds a narrative against Republicans that they don't like or would be harmful to Democrats. So it's a narrative, dude. How many times have we said this, or do we have to say it? And now it's provable by video evidence that, and I'm not saying Fox News is completely like,
no, Fox News isn't innocent in this either. I'm sure
they're not innocent. They do the same.
They do the exact
shit,
same
dude.
thing.
You have someone on video testimony saying that they build narratives that's going to help their side. CNN being the left, Fox News being the right. It's on record now. But people still buy into these bullshit narratives that is completely outside of the realm of understanding that you're fighting for this cause. And again, I think that it comes from a good place. I don't think these people are inherently trying to be like just toxic or just trying to stir the hornet's nest. I don't think that's the case. I think they're trying to fight for good. But at the end of the day, you're fighting for the wrong fucking cause, dude. You're not fighting in the right direction. We all have to pull in the right direction. And that's to tell these fucks that, hey, we're not going to listen to your bullshit narrative anymore. We're not going to buy into your stupid fucking taglines or tickers, whatever you put on the screen,
knee-jerk
that we're just going to buy into blindly.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of fucking wherewithal within yourself to believe in what you're saying and not just read it in a meme and say that's what I'm going to fight for. You have to fucking do your own research.
Yeah.
We say it all the time. I feel like that's somewhat why I'm most frustrated, is because we've been doing this for 30 plus episodes now. And yeah, our community is great and our listeners are awesome, but I don't understand how people can continue to fall into this bullshit cycle over and over and over again and not open their fucking eyes.
Because it takes too much work for them to do that, and in doing that work, they'll come to realize that what they find is not going to fit the narrative they want to paint to get their agenda across. It's annoying. It's annoying. Next picture.
I didn't send you that video, but could you find that video real quick? Of
Which one's that?
Dude, the CNN guy he thought he was on a date with a
Yeah.
girl from Tinder.
I'll take a look at it.
And she was like, it was Project Veritas.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
In the meantime, the next picture that I have pulled up, it says, "Repeat after me. I will not tell black folks how to feel, protest, or mourn."
I won't tell you how to feel, because that is within yourself. I won't tell you how to mourn. I won't tell you how to do anything. What I will tell you not to do is break the fucking law. And I'm sorry, this most recent case of an officer accidentally discharging her firearm onto a black male who had a warrant, who was trying to get away from the police because he didn't want to go to jail, which is understandable. This is not George Floyd. This is not George Floyd.
No.
And I understand that it's maybe even a little tougher to digest because Derek Chauvin is going through his due process right, which is a right amongst Americans, by the way. I have 1,000 more things to say about people who are posting right now, "We saw a man murder someone on live TV and he's getting a trial right now, and that's what's wrong with America." Well, no, that's our system. You're innocent until proven guilty. So Derek Chauvin, may he be a murderer, that dude in Colorado who blatantly murdered his 2 daughters and his wife and shoved them in oil bins, basically, he got due process. He is the shittiest of the shitty among human beings. But you know fucking what? He got his day in court because that's your God-given American right. If you want to talk about shittiest of shitties in trial, that's where we should be looking at. Derek Chauvin may be a shitty human, but you know what? He gets his day in court just like the fucking rest of us do. I told you I had a lot of... I'm fucking fired up about this shit this week, dude.
Yeah, it's... yeah. So this is kind of the same... in the same vein as... Jacob Blake.
Yeah. Hands up, don't shoot, right?
Yeah, so in case you guys haven't heard, what happened in just outside of friggin' Minneapolis, I think is where it was. Dude, it was called, the name of the town is Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, which is it was like 15 minutes from where friggin' Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd, right? So what happened is Daunte Wright gets pulled over on a routine traffic stop. It first came out and was said that it was pulled over because he had air fresheners hanging from his rearview mirror, which in Minnesota, that's illegal, but that's not the reason he was pulled over. While he was getting pulled over, he called his mother and was like, "I'm getting pulled over." And she was like, Why, what for? And he said, "It's because I have air fresheners hanging from the rearview mirror." So that's what the family went off of, and that's what they put out first. Well, turns out he was actually getting pulled over because his tags were expired on his car. Either way, it doesn't matter why he got pulled over. He got pulled over. It was basically a routine traffic stop because something wasn't right with the car. So that happened. Come to find out, as they run his ID and everything, he has a warrant out for a misdemeanor. He's got a misdemeanor warrant out for his arrest. When they try to arrest him...
let me add, it was attempted aggravated burglary.
There you go.
Was what his warrant was out for.
I hadn't seen that yet.
Yes.
So attempted aggravated burglary is what his warrant was. So they were trying to take him in on that warrant. When they attempted to do so, I watched the body cam footage. They attempted to do that. He went to get back and he said, fuck no, basically, and tried to get back in his car to run away. Because he didn't want to go to jail. He didn't want to get arrested. So he tried struggling to get away from the police and get in his car and leave. Then the officer's body cam that I watched was the female officer who shot him. You can clearly hear in the body cam footage her going, taser, taser, taser. Unfortunately, she has her handgun in her hand, pulls the trigger once and shoots him, realizes that that's what she's done, and immediately goes, oh, fuck, and puts it away.
She said, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I just shot him.
Yeah, I just shot him. She didn't, from what I can tell looking at the video, she did not intend to shoot and kill Daunte Wright.
Well, and there's a couple different aspects of this, right? From both the Police or Die or Black Lives Matter or Die movement, right? She should have been trained better.
She was this, I mean, true, but from what I understood in the interviews with the police chief, like, she's a senior member of the force.
22 years on the force.
Right.
Yeah. When you put people into stressful situations, they do dumb shit. I'm sure everyone listening right now, or anyone that might listen, has been in one of those near accident situations, or put yourself in any stressful situation, and you get out of that stressful situation and you're fucking shaking.
Yeah, your adrenaline is through the roof.
Yeah, there's an adrenaline dump that happens there that you are cognitively thinking different, that for whatever reason, I don't understand the science behind it. I just know that you do stupid shit under stressful situations. If you put yourself in an active shooter situation, you take the best cops in the world and put a taser in their hand or put a loaded handgun in their hand, and you can talk about the weight, you can talk about the shape, you can talk about the colors, whatever. It is, you cannot simulate that situation until you're there. So yes, she made a very bad mistake.
Yes.
Horrible mistake that she will probably have to live with for the rest of her life. But you know how you don't put an officer in that situation? Is you don't try to re-enter a vehicle with a warrant out for your arrest. And again, this isn't George Floyd. You put yourself into that situation, and I'm sorry. I hate it. I hate that poor man lost his life.
Yeah, he was a young kid. That dude was 20, and like
over a warrant. Like it sucks. Again, I've said it before when we've talked about these types of things. I don't want anyone to lose their life. I don't want anyone to be in that situation where you feel like you have to run, because if you don't run, you're getting taken to jail and you're going to be locked up. I don't want that for anybody. But you put yourself into that situation. There has to be a sort of personal accountability, just like for the officer right now that everyone is crucifying. She made a poor mistake. She is going to have a certain level of personal accountability for that mistake. And that should happen. That's the way it goes. But at the end of the day, you have to take a certain level of accountability for your own fucking actions, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just play the victim card and say you're completely absolved from any sort of blame in this situation. No, that's what put everyone into this situation.
Right.
That's how we got here.
Right. Let me catch up with chat real fast. Okay, so yes, Abby, we're not saying that the officer didn't make a mistake. You know, Alex covered that. Yes, she made a mistake, but like, you know, Love Splash said, and welcome, fine motor skills out the window. Yes, I mean, you get put in any type of situation where adrenaline is going to be pumping through your body. Fine motor skills go out the window, and the funny thing about your brain is it tricks you into doing, not saying that it would trick her into doing this, but it fills in the gaps on things and purposely stops noticing certain things in certain situations. High adrenaline situations may be one of those.
You go into a flight or fight mechanism, and as cops, there's no flight. You can't get
You can't
into your
run.
car and drive away. So it's fight mechanism, right? And you may think that you have the taser in your hand. And in a training drill or on a random Sunday afternoon, if you're saying, taser or pistol, what is this? You're going to obviously say, oh, taser or pistol. But when you're in that situation, you make mistakes.
Yeah, hold on. Let me
People make
catch up.
mistakes.
Let me catch up with this again. So Combo asked, are they trying to charge her with murder? And Abby said they better. Pump the brakes.
No, dude.
Pump the brakes.
No, that's the same shit going on with Derek Chauvin right now.
Yeah. So Combo says if they were to try and charge her with murder, I think they might win because of social media. But if they were to try and charge her with manslaughter, I feel like they would have a case. Abby said officers shouldn't kill unless they are defending their own life, though. That I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't agree with. Because it's for this. They should, if they have to defend their own life, sure. If they need to defend the lives of civilians and people in danger, also. Okay? Also. So they can't just be, you can't say, if you say they shouldn't kill unless they're defending their own life. So if their own life isn't in danger, like because maybe they're out of the way or something of some gunman going crazy, so like what do you do in that place? Based solely off of that statement, you're just gonna let that dude go on a murder spree? But your life as a cop isn't in danger because he's not facing you. You're not. So how do you arrest somebody like that? So then when you get to that point, where you're like, oh fuck, we have to arrest this guy or some shit. Now what? Now you can kill him because your life's in danger. Like,
no, and again, this killing was not justified.
No, I'm not saying it was justified.
And I know you're not saying that, but let's put the situation in a magical land where anything could happen, right? And that officer just says, you know what? I'll just let this cuffed man get back into his vehicle and drive on down the interstate, and we'll just follow him. Well, what happens when that cuffed man hits a van that has a woman and her 4 children in it and causes that vehicle to flip, and now he's caused the death of 4 truly innocent people driving down the interstate? Let's just live in a magical land like that, right? You can't live in the land of what ifs or what have yous. There's regulations in place that say if we stop a person because of expired tags and that person has a warrant out for their arrest, we are going to arrest said person. And again, I feel for the guy who just wants to get away. I don't know what his end game was, but he's trying to get away. Eventually he was going to get caught.
Yeah.
And I feel for the officer who made a life-changing, life-ruining decision by accessing her right hip instead of her left hip, because officers carry their lethal weapon on their dominant hand side.
I was gonna say, depending what your dominant hand side is, that's where
on their dominant hand side is their lethal weapon, and on their non-dominant hand side is their taser or incapacitating weapon. She drew from the right side, and there's not a person in the world that can convince me, unless there's some hidden cam evidence or some off-kiltered comment that she makes that says, I just really hate black people. Like, she did not do this on purpose.
No, it wasn't on purpose.
And you can't completely absolve the person that she pulled over from this incident.
No, you can't, because he tried to run.
He put himself into that situation. Should he have been tasered instead of shot? Yes, 1,000%. Should he still be alive today? And we probably wouldn't even know his name. We'd have never seen the body camera evidence, because thousands of people get pulled over every day in this same exact situation with warrants, felony warrants, what have you, and they get taken into custody without fatal wounds to their body. And yes, this officer made a bad choice. She made a mistake. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not trying to say that this mistake should go unpunished, because it should. You can't have this.
Right.
That's for sure.
And my thing is, I'm not gonna call for murder off an accident.
No. Yeah, it's not a murder.
Yeah,
Derek
like,
Chauvin is most
Derek
likely
Chauvin
not
is a
gonna
murder.
get-
But he's
most likely not even gonna get actually convicted of murder. I don't know. Maybe he will.
I kind of hope he
But-
does, but if we come back to reality and what was more than likely going to happen, it's unfortunate that he's not going to get charged with murder. Hold on, let me catch up with chat. Chat's popping right now. You can't tell me, Abby said you can't tell me to pump the brakes. That's your opinion. I get that that's your opinion, but calling for a murder charge for somebody
Well,
off
and
an accidental discharge essentially is what it boils down to, and it's very
That's called
simple.
manslaughter.
That's manslaughter. You can't call for murder on that. Point blank, she killed someone. How can we just say whoopsie and not let it go? We're not saying whoopsie and letting it go. We're not letting it go. She's still gonna face repercussions for what she did, but the onus is not solely on her. Devontae Wright put himself in that situation as well by trying to run.
Murder
Is just her walking up and be like, I don't like this dude. Pow.
Yeah, that's premeditated killing of an individual.
Yeah,
that's what
the
murder
dictionary
sentence
definition is. This wasn't
Manslaughter
premeditated.
Is an accidental taking of someone's life, and she will probably get manslaughter, like a second-degree manslaughter charge,
Yeah.
probably something like that, because you just can't, as an officer, mean to pull out your taser and accidentally pull out your gun and shoot someone.
True.
Although it's very clear that she made a mistake, at least looking at the video footage, when she immediately shoots him once and says, shit. I just shot him. And she's clearly like, oh my God, I just made one of the worst mistakes in my life. She's not without fault. That's not what the conversation is at all. But what drives me crazy is you have this group of people that want to make that individual out to be a saint or like some martyr for the cause
When he's not.
When he's not without sin. I'm sorry. No, I'm not without sin.
Neither am I.
None of us are without sin. You can't make him a martyr for the cause. Again, this is not George Floyd.
Yeah.
This is not the same situation. And for Minnesotans to reacting like the way that they are and burning down, looting, the same old stupid shit that we've seen 100 times over, it's not the same case, dude.
No, it's not.
It's not even close.
Yeah, Comp, I know. I'm trying to get back to it. So, let me see. Yeah, when a person flees... Okay, so Cheeseburger Lacey's here. What's up, brother? How you doing? When a person flees the scene, they will be chased, meaning they will drive out of control. What happens if that were a kid... If that kid were to hit a kid and kill the kid playing in the front yard? Yep. I mean, you got to take that into account. Shooting his tires fall back on the fine motor skills. And that's... Shooting tires out even when you're not having an adrenaline rush is extremely difficult as well. Also... Love Splash also points out there's a chance of ricochet as well, because that bullet's going to go through the tire and then it hits a hard metal rim. Who knows where it's going after that? Maybe it dies on the rim, maybe it ricochets off and hits somebody or something else. Also, depending at what point you shoot the tires out, whether at what speed the vehicle is traveling at, you could then cause the vehicle to lose control in a catastrophic way and cause even more damage. So this and look, there's a lot of other stuff that y'all talked about in here as well. But that's the land of what ifs. This is a heat of the moment situation.
Well, and the term, I think Abby talked about it or made the reference well, that there's a difference in murder and manslaughter, because I've seen, I've talked to people that are saying we saw Derek Chauvin murder someone on a video, and right now we're putting him into a trial, and that's such a fail of America. No, that's what makes America America, is that your day in court comes for everyone. It doesn't matter if we see a video. And by the way, let's talk about fucking gang violence for a second, where the most fucking homicides in America by gun violence come from gang violence. It doesn't matter if we see a blood put a fucking gun to a Crip's head and blow that person's brains out. That person still gets their fucking day in court. They are still innocent until proven guilty. So yeah, I think Derek Chauvin is a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong. I think he murdered George Floyd and he knew exactly what he was doing. But you know what? That motherfucker gets his day in court just like the rest of us do.
No, yeah, because
And if you want to say America is a failed country because we're putting him through court right now and he gets his say, fuck you, dude. You don't understand how this shit works, and you're just participating in the woke Olympics
yeah,
of saying what you need to say to get likes and fucking retweets.
follows. All you want is clout because you think you're cool. Like let's put it this way too. Fucking if that was you, put you in that person's shoes or whatever. Like, if you were like, if you were in that same situation, you would want your day in court as well, like to get your say out. Because if we take that away and just go based off what we've seen, like on video evidence or something else, we then turn to freaking the wild, wild west again. And it's just going to be vigilante justice, and people are just going to be fucking running around with goddamn Colt 45s and rope again, and some innocent dude is just going to get shot for no reason, and then we're going to come out later and be like, oh, fuck, wrong guy. Our bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like, fuck no, dude.
Got the wrong one.
Like, fuck no. There's a reason we have a court system and a justice system. There's a reason.
And Wade.
What's up, Wade?
In here, Wade. He said
Taser versus fully loaded Glock is a huge difference in weight. I'm not disagreeing with that, but
we talked about that earlier.
In the heat of the moment with the adrenaline rush, that is not going to be one of the things your brain picks up on in enough time for you to go, oh, shit, and change.
Colleen Noir, I think I'm saying his name right. He was on Ben Shapiro or on Joe Rogan this week. And he's a Second Amendment activist. They were talking about how fucked it was that this kid got shot. It's extremely fucked. But they put him through a series of stress tests, basically, that was designed from like one person breaking into his hotel room to like 6 people breaking into his hotel room. And he was talking about the difference in the level of stress that you feel, because they didn't have real guns, obviously, but
right.
They had guns that shot essentially rubber bullets that hurt like hell.
Probably, it was probably something along the lines of like sim rounds or something, because those things leave welts.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's exactly
basically
what it was.
Like paintball, but a lot less or a lot rougher.
So when he got to like 6 people breaking into his room, he ended up in the ball and the fetal position, and these people just shooting him with these sim rounds. He was talking about the level of stress that happens to your neurological system to where it literally almost makes you like a different person. Like all of the training you've had, all of the you go into this mode where it's like a fight or flight, if you will, to where your training almost leave, and you go into this mode of like, it's me or you. And yes, there's a huge weight difference. And I'm sure, I don't remember that lady's name. It was Sarah something. If you brought
The
that
police
same
officer?
officer that, yeah,
Sarah Potter.
yeah. If you brought that same police officer into just a controlled room and said, here, you want a bottle of water or a cup of coffee? And she held a Glock in her hand, blindfolded, and then she held the taser in her hand, she could probably tell you which one was which because she's been a police officer for 22 years. But you put her into that situation where she's getting that adrenaline dump. Again, it's a fatal mistake that can't happen. I'm not justifying.
I would just want to
what
take a
happened
pause for a minute, like
whatsoever.
real fast, and say we're not trying to justify the fact that she shot and killed this man. We're just literally breaking down the facts of like basically how your body operates in certain situations like this. And we're trying to give, paint the picture of why she acted the way she acted. Exactly. And
And
Love
again,
Splash point
she's
Love Splash
not.
has a good point right here. The weight isn't as significant under adrenaline. You'd be squeezing so hard you wouldn't notice. Which is true, because eventually, like, if you were under
Yeah.
adrenaline and say this is the Glock and my phone, this is a weight difference even here in phone and controller, and I'm squeezing really hard, like your muscles are so tight and tensed up, and you're squeezing and your adrenaline's pumping, you don't know what weighs what in that moment because there's so much blood and so much sensory overload that adding anything extra, your brain cannot process it anymore.
You're you're not you're not focused on weight
That's not the
or
first thing you're gonna pull
on
out. You're gonna
size
focus on when
or
some
shape.
shit like that happens.
You're focused on the job that's at hand, which is apprehending this individual, which again, I say it for the seventh time or whatever. She's not guilty.
Right.
She's not completely free of
Yeah, saying
blame in this situation.
painting the
because she
picture of
absolutely is.
painting the picture of how she reacted in this situation is not trying to absolve her of any wrongdoing.
No, but to say that she is the only one at fault here and that the victim does not share some blame in the situation, it is an incoherent statement.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make that statement because, and again, I understand the kid not wanting to go to jail. I completely understand that. I can't say I've never been in handcuffs and tried to drive my car away, so I can't say I know exactly how he felt. But I've been at parties of underage drinking and ran because I didn't want my ass to go to jail and get
Same.
a ticket.
Multiple
I
times at
understand.
Northwest, I've been like, "Oh shit."
I understand that sentiment, but in the same breath to say that I was completely innocent and the cops trying to persecute me are completely guilty, there's not the same level of trade-off there. You can't just make the victim completely absolvent of any sort of blame in this situation.
Yeah. And Greg,
You can't do it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I want to get back. I don't want to ignore Greg's comment either. He said, "What would people's opinion be if a family member was killed by someone who the cops let flee the scene? If someone is running from the cops, they are clearly not interested in going to jail, and who knows what they would do to not go." Like the same thing. Like if he ran, so like he's gonna, like we mentioned it earlier. If he ran, you're not gonna be driving calmly away from the scene. You're not gonna be taking your Sunday drive. You're gonna be hauling ass. And at those speeds, if some kid were to jump in front of you, you needed to make a sharp turn, any type of like movement like that, your reaction time is slowed, and you have milliseconds to react, and it's not going to happen.
In handcuffs, to say the least.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into all that shit of like the what haves or what could have beens, but
Yeah, like that's just a lot of what ifs down a road of fairy tales.
I feel bad for the kid who died and his family, and I feel bad for the officer who was put into that situation and made a bad choice. I feel bad for the whole fucking situation.
Yeah.
I really do. But to see people protesting once again after the family has come out and said we don't want to see Minnesota burn. But his family, Deontay Wright's family, literally came out and said that. Like, I believe it was that evening. And then you see protests and fucking riots and looting happening in downtown Minnesota. People using an excuse to go out and be just complete assholes and say we're doing this in the name of social justice. Well, no, you're not. You're doing it in the name of personal gain. That's what you're doing. That's 1,000% what you're doing. Because if you really cared to claim as much about the family of the victim, you would do what they wished and what they honored. And you're not doing that. Quite in fact, you're doing the complete fucking opposite.
I just can't understand for the life of me. Like, I'm not gonna, like, if you want to go out and protest this, then fine, go and protest it. But what I will never understand is the desire to go and smash everything in sight in your protest. And at that point, it's not a protest, it's a riot. What good does that do to you, your cause, or the community you live in by smashing everything in sight and looting because you think the cops are bad?
Have you seen
Like, what is that going to do to you? Because then 2 days, 3 days down the line, you're going to be like, you know what? I need to go get gas. And you're going to go to the gas station on the corner that you always go to. And then you're going to be like, fuck. Now I have to drive 10 minutes farther because we destroyed that gas station for no reason.
I'm going to send you inside the Black Lives Matter co-founders multi-million-dollar real estate buying bin.
No, somebody sent me an article about that on Discord.
Yep.
But yeah, no, so, and Coke's got it right here. He says, that's it. We just melt all the guns in the USA to one big pot and hand out participation awards with them. There you go. That'll solve everything. And Love Splash, you're right too. That's all anybody cares about now is the likes and the clout that they get from things.
Ultimately, some people have figured this out, and it goes deeper than just what we're talking about. But what's the best way to stay in power? And that's to make the people beneath you feel powerless. And what's the best way to make money? That's to be in power.
Mm-hmm.
So let's tell people what they want to hear, i.e. CNN saying, or Fox News, whatever. CNN's just the one that's on record with that dude who thought he was taking that girl on Tinder dates.
Right.
We're going to say what we need to say to keep the people down that we want to keep down. So we're going to feed people what they want to hear or what they need to hear, what have you, so that basically we can stay with the most power and make people feel helpless. And when we have the most power, we have the most money. And that's it. That's just the end of the story for everything that we talk about.
Right.
All of it.
Yeah. Abby said, she heard that when people in BLM or ACAB riots, because it's the only way their voice can be heard and taken serious, because people peaceful protest didn't work. She doesn't agree. She's just sharing what she heard. My counterpoint to that is, look at Martin Luther King Jr. He was peaceful his entire time and his voice got heard. That's why they took him out.
Well, and when's the last time we saw a peaceful protest?
Fucking
never.
Not recently. I can't think of one.
Not recently.
It's all riots.
And when you listen to the leaders of the Black Lives Matter, it's, if my people have to steal shoes to pay their rent or to feed their families, then that's what they're gonna have to do. No, it's going back to
they're not stealing those things to provide for themselves. They're stealing it because now they just have an excuse to do it.
I'm not gonna tell a black person how to feel or how to mourn or how to protest. What I am going to tell them to do is to obey the law. That's all I care about. And I am willing, most of the people that I speak to, that I interact with, are willing to sit down and have a conversation and say, hey, how do we make this better? That's where I'm saying that a lot of these stupid memes or whatever that I see from people who are on the left, I understand that it comes from a place, a good place. It comes from a good heart, but you can't buy into that stupid shit that you just see online and you're just going to take as gospel. We have to be able to willing to sit down and really figure out how to improve our situation. And it doesn't come with name calling or just this gross misconduct of social guidelines on a meme or whatever. It's fucking infuriating, dude.
Yeah. It is. Fuck. I was gonna say something else. Something I saw recently. And I don't remember the exact context of it, but this guy was like basically going around and talking to people on different sides of the. It might have been fucking from Spike Cohen's Twitter, actually. It was, it was either him or someone he knew, like, had gone around and they were talking to people on both sides of the aisle, basically. And, come to find out with what we already know is that the be all and end of it is we don't really have that many differences.
No.
On either side, but what happens is the people in power force us to focus on our differences. And if we stopped letting them do that and thought for ourselves for more than 30 seconds and actually sat down and had civil conversation with people, we would come to find out that we could do a lot more good and keep a lot more people in check and get a lot more done based off that than just sitting here bickering like children. And combo, expound was what I meant right there, not expand. Expound is a word. Sorry.
Well, again, how do you stay in power? That would be by dividing people amongst themselves.
No, exactly.
That they don't realize the power that they have. So how do we do that? We split them up into two sides, and we say one side is the right side, and the other side's the dumb side. So if you're a Democrat,
you're right. The Republicans are dumb.
Being a Republican, and if you're a Republican, you're a fucking idiot. If you're a Democrat, okay, perfect. So now that we have people split up into two different sides, let's do everything that we can to ensure that we have
that they stay
this
there.
Tribalist mindset to where if you're right, the left is wrong, and if you're left, the right is wrong.
And how do we continue how do we continue that process? By funding propaganda machines on each side.
It's fucking exhausting, dude.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. And that's why I truly hope that people are starting to wake up a little bit out there, and that something like a third party can rise up, because that's the one true thing that both a Democrat and a Republican would say, is if a third party rises up, that will be catastrophic towards our two-party system, which... Please, God, let that happen.
No, for real, it does need to happen.
Get a third-party candidate within there, and they really start holding these people accountable for lobbyists and donations and all the other shady shit that goes on behind the scenes that people get rich on, but the middle class stays the middle class, and the rest of us are just out there to fend for ourselves. And a lot of the middle class just bickers at each other right now about who they fucking voted for.
Yeah.
The fact that they don't care about the general population. Stupid, dude.
It's big dumb. Jesus, what's up, man? No, you're good. We're just glad that you're here. Metters, that's, you're right. That is, obviously we don't get taught that in our textbooks. Martin MLK would come into towns, speak and preach nonviolence, and then leave, and then people would riot.
Can you pull up that CNN video?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is part 1, so I think this is right. Oh fuck.
Yeah, this guy thought he was on a Tinder date, but
I think we got him through this term. We would always show shots of him jogging,
and they were recording what he said. And it basically just verifies everything that we've ever said about Fox News or CNN and the fact that they have an agenda.
aviator shades, and like you paint him as a young geriatric.
We were creating story there that we didn't know anything about. So that's I think that's propaganda.
Look what we did. We got Trump out. I am 100% going to say it, and I 100% believe it, that if it wasn't for CNN, I don't know that Trump would have got voted out.
Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
Do you think it's going to be just like a lot of like fear, like climate?
Yeah, fear sells. Fear sells. No one ever says those things out loud, but it's obvious.
And what is it you do?
Technical director, it's one step down from director.
It's going to be our focus. Our focus was to get Trump out of office. Without saying it, that's what it was. Trump his hand was shaking or whatever, and he was losing it. He's unfit. We were creating story there. So that's I think that's propaganda.
So I'm standing here.
All right, I'm not gonna play too much more of it because I'm sure we're already gonna get copyright striked for that when I post this on YouTube. But there you have it. There you have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it verifies everything that we've all been saying for a long time now, that this isn't news anymore. This is an agenda pushed by people who have a political agenda to basically shame people of the wrong party.
You know, Abby's right though.
News.
Where he went wrong is talking like that on a Tinder date. Big facts. Don't expose yourself to randoms from Tinder. But it did help us to verify the things that we've been saying since day one. And
It's
again,
the same old
Fox is not absolved of this because I
No.
am 100% certain that if it was a Fox exec in the same position that dude was in, talking to somebody they met on Tinder, they would say the exact same thing. Like, we're here trying to fight against CNN and we're trying to get Sleepy Joe out of office and that kind of that. So
It's the same old shit over and over again, which is why if you're getting your news from these platforms, you need to readjust your thinking and do some fucking digging on your own, because these people do not have your best interest at heart. They do not have anyone but the platforms or the narrative's best interest.
they're
at heart.
in it for
They
the
do
money.
not care.
Their
Yes.
paymasters tell them what to put out, and they do so. Otherwise, they will lose their job because their paymasters will find someone that will do what they want them to do.
Yes.
And that is on
And-
both sides. Alex's volume is low. And I've been saying that the past couple weeks. Is there a way you can
again.
turn your gain up?
Yeah, I'll turn it up again.
Because I have... Here, try that, chat. I did lower the volume just because that video was kind of loud, so we'll see if that helps.
Yeah, man, it fucking infuriates me. There was a shooting in Omaha this weekend.
I did see that. Actually, Combo pointed that out to me and told me about it, and I was like, "What the hell?" So I didn't even look into it. I immediately, the first thing I did was text Hugo and was like, "Yo, is everybody that, like, I know you guys are down in KC, but it's like everybody else in Omaha good? Like, y'all good? Nobody was near that."
Yeah, it was gang shit.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said it ended up being gang violence.
Yeah, and we lived in a fuck up world where it's like, oh, thank God it's not an active shooter. It's just some gang shit.
Yeah, like that's shitty when you go, "Oh, it was just gang violence, cool." Like, and move on with your life. Like, it's not, let me be clear, it's not cool that it was a fucking gang related shooting. But it sucks that that's the world we live in, where instead of where you go, "Oh shit, there was a shooting in Omaha, like who fucking went off?" not.
No, I literally had a friend text me and was like, I hope you aren't near the mall right now. And I was in Kansas City and I started looking at what was going on. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, no, I'm in Kansas City right now, but I think this was just gang violence.
Jesus Christ, there was
And
an active shooter in Austin today.
yeah, there was.
Fuck, and there was one actually not too far removed from the Omaha shooting. Either like the day before or earlier the same day, some dude went, some ex FedEx employee went and shot up his
Yep. Yo, and where's CNN right now about gun control and all that bullshit because it was a gang violence incident?
nowhere to be fucking found.
No,
They're not covering
They're-
like any of these things because it doesn't fit. Why am I doing that? The narrative.
it's such a bullshit. They're so fraudulent. They're so, and not only fraudulent, but just blatantly like fraudulent about their claims of wanting to preserve lives of people. If you did, there are a lot of issues that we could look like right now. One of them being gang violence that we could really try to tackle, that would be a bipartisan issue that would save lives of people. But we don't care about lives of people, really.
No.
We care about what the next big talking point is. We care about where we can draw our clicks and our likes and our attention.
Yeah.
And it's such a bullshit, fraudulent fucking effort to try to drive their own personal narrative that they really don't give a fuck about you or about me or about anybody else. All they're doing is making money. That's all they fucking want to do. That's it.
Right.
And if it was really about your life or my life or anybody else's life, the narrative would be different. And they probably wouldn't make as much money. But they don't fucking care about that. They just want to sell a product that people are going to invest in.
Yep. Yep. I mean, and Meadows is right. It fits the gun control narrative, so now they'll talk about it. My whole thing is like the overarching thing with the gun control is one side's like take all the guns, the other side's like you're not fucking touching my guns. And what everyone fails to realize is that no matter what, if you take all the guns, the bad guys are still going to get guns. It doesn't matter. You're going to take all the guns, and then there's going to be some dude still committing a violent mass shooting, and everyone's going to be Pikachu face from the meme, just like, what? How did he do that? We banned all the guns. How did and it's going to be like, are you fucking dumb? Like, there is a black market or an underground market for everything. For everything. And you are naive and stupid to think that if you take away all the guns that there's not going to be guns around. And what's going to happen also is if you take all the guns away, you're going to make honest citizens, law-abiding citizens, criminals.
Go look at the Prohibition era. If you really think that taking guns from people, or for that matter, in this case, taking alcohol from people, is going to stop people from shooting each other or drinking alcohol, go look at the
fucking just look at
Prohibition
the
era.
yeah, like they were like no more alcohol, and America was like, that's where you're wrong, bucko.
Yeah, because guess what? We're gonna have a lot of gangs making their own booze and running it. And what do you need whenever you're running booze because someone else wants to take it from you? You need weapons. So now we're selling Tommy guns, which is literally where the term Tommy gun comes from, which is in the Prohibition era. Now you're basically incentivizing a market which sells an illegal item, i.e. alcohol, that I can make a lot of money on, and a product that I have to protect, i.e. in the way of a gun. It's so backwards thinking. I literally don't understand it. And I'll say it again for like the 10th time this podcast. It drives me fucking crazy because I can't understand it. You're muted.
My bad. I was fucking with my mic a second ago. I didn't realize I muted myself. Everybody loves, well, most people like NASCAR, right? You guys know how NASCAR started? It started in the Prohibition because of the rum runners. That's how NASCAR started. You're welcome, America. So, like, take guns away. Watch some other stupid ass sport or something is going to pop up afterwards based on that. But again, Love Splash pointed out that the government supplied Mexicans with arms and they'll just funnel right back up. That's what we did with friggin' Iran Contra. That shit happened too. We fucking went and trained. God damn it. This always comes to bite us back in the ass. We sell guns and train up different nations to do things. Oh, good. My internet connection's unstable. That's fun. Please don't die. And then that always comes back to bite us in the ass. But that is a topic for another time. That is
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing. History is cyclical. Is that a word?
cyclical.
Cyclical.
Cyclical. There it is.
Cyclical. It goes in a circle. Is what I'm trying to say. Cool. Is what I'm trying to say. We always feel like we've progressed to a point where we can never go backwards in time to have what in the past happened that was so barbaric in some points of reference that can never happen again. Well, our society is very, very fragile. Look at LA right now.
Oh my God.
That's like you're talking like as almost barbaric as LA has been in many, many years with their homeless population and the way that the cops won't even show up in LA right now if you steal under $900 worth of merchandise.
They don't give a fuck.
No, that's literally an order right now to where if you steal under $900 in whatever you're stealing, they will not prosecute you. You want to talk about a Wild West type situation? That's pretty fucking Wild West.
Yeah,
dude. You
that
can
is.
park your car on the street and have an iPad stolen and a window shattered, and the cops won't persecute the person who stole it. So now you're talking about one of the most democratic states in the nation that strives to achieve directly against this. And not be kept these circumstances. So ideology that set out to create the exact opposite of this situation is now promoting this situation. You cannot go away from history in the sense of that we're progressed far enough to the point that we can't repeat it, because it's literally repeating itself over and over again. And it's going to continue to repeat itself over and over and over again if we don't learn from these situations.
No,
And
that's
very
true.
clearly in some states and cities, we're not learning anything. We're
Mhm.
trying to create this utopia society that will never be created.
No, it's not going to
It's not
happen. It's
gonna
literally
happen.
impossible.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a big. Yeah, Alex, I would tell you there was I think it was on your end. There was a huge lag spike. Like your internet took a fat shit.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, and like you were on a roll, and it got on a roll, and the powers that be said no. He's taking too much of the truth.
Fucking Democrats are watching me right now. AOC's lagging my internet out.
All of them, the Democrats and the Republicans. It's the government
No,
coming
and-
for us.
And on a completely different, unrelated note, I hope everyone knows right now that I do not have a problem with quote unquote Democrats or quote unquote Republicans. I really don't give a shit what your title says. I just recognize people that are full of shit, and I recognize people that really want to better our country, i.e. Tulsi Gabbard, i.e. Dan Crenshaw. Opposite sides of the aisle, both people that I have respect for.
I don't
Bernie
give.
Sanders I'd put in that group. I wildly disagree with a lot of his policy, but I think he's a genuine guy.
I feel like he's one of the dudes that you'll at least be able to sit down and have a conversation with him, and he's not gonna yell at you.
Let me put it this way. I don't think Bernie Sanders is padding his pockets with lobbyists to try to push an agenda that he doesn't believe in. I'll just say that much. I might be wrong. I don't know. But
We shall see.
I really don't give a shit what side of the aisle you fall on, as long as I can have a belief and an understanding of what you're trying to push and what you're trying to make other people believe in. And there's a very fine line when people are pushing a narrative because it's a narrative that's going to make them money, and a narrative because they believe in it.
Right. Bernie's been the same guy for 40 plus years. That's true.
Yeah.
He's a millionaire now, but it's taken a while. Like, I'll give you that. Bernie, Alex said, I don't agree with the majority of the things that Bernie says or wants to put in place, but he's been one of the few politicians that's been consistent the entire time. And the only reason I feel like that he's a millionaire now is because he was smart with his money and did what he was supposed to, so that now in his older age he has the money to do things, so that when he retires from being a politician, he's not
bought
gonna...
a lot of Dogecoin about 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, when it wasn't even a thing. No, but
I think Bernie was one of the founders of Dogecoin. Actually, I think, if memory serves me.
Shut the fuck. Shut the fuck up.
That's a joke.
No, but to go back to what Alex was saying, is like, I don't care what side of the aisle you fall on, as long as you can have a conversation. I don't say something and you're immediately going to yell at me for what I have to say. To the moon. Dogecoin to the moon. I'm not hopping on that train because Dogecoin is not set up to cap itself. It's set up to keep making...
Don't you say that.
Keep making coins over and over and over and over, and so eventually the price is going to come back down.
Hey, don't you fucking say that, all right?
Sorry to bring logic into your go to the moon party.
That's because you're not an investor, and I say Dogecoin to the moon, baby.
Boo to you, sir. Boo.
Let's go. Love Splash, I'm with you. All the way to the moon.
Yeah, but when weed wasn't illegal, it would take sales from tobacco people started. Oh yeah, because you guys were talking about that earlier. Yeah, the thing is, no, that was the thing. Who the fuck? That was on. I listened to that podcast on Joe Rogan where it was about climate change. But she also brought in the same people that they brought in to say that cigarettes were healthy for you in order to say cigarettes, to sell more cigarettes, or the same type of people they brought in to do the whole climate change arguments and stuff.
No, it's Ben. Let me enhance this.
No, I was just trying to give the be all the short and skinny.
Let me hold on. I'm gonna give you a short and skinny, but
I have high doubts.
the lawyers from the Marlboro case, when Marlboro hired lawyers to say that smoking does not cause cancer, they are literally the
exact
same lawyers that were hired to come in and make a case that global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it, is not a thing. The same lawyers, the same people who basically got brought in to be like, oh well, we kind of know that smoking causes cancer, but we're gonna try to make a case that smoking does not cause cancer. Same people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No
Same thing.
Combo. Darth didn't fire me up. I'm fired up.
He was fired up already, and then I just shit on Dogecoin a little bit, and that just set him off again.
Yeah, cigarettes cause global warming. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Basically, if we all stop smoking cigarettes, the ozone would be just fine.
It'll balance itself out. It'll be fine. If cows stop farting,
dude,
and people stop
I
smoking,
said that to my little brother the other day, and he was like, dude, cows farting is not even a fraction of the cause of fucking global warming.
Yeah.
He's a science dude. He gets very mad when I say things like that. Oh, fuck. But anyway, bye, guys. Love you.
Love you guys. Be good to each other.